morning, everybody. My name is Abigayle Koller. I am the former clinical program manager for West Virginia at the National Youth Advocate Program. Recently, I fully transitioned over to the executive director of our Maryland location. However, I'm still remaining in West Virginia to provide therapeutic services to the youth and families that we serve at NYAP. And I'm going to let Angie Kidder introduce herself as well.
Good morning. Excuse me. I'm Angie Kidder, and I have been with the National Youth Advocate Program for the last almost a little over 3 years. I am the regional wraparound coordinator for, you guys call it the South region, but to me it's Wood County, Pleasants County. I've got Wood, Pleasant, Gilmer, Calhoun, Kanawha, Jackson, Wirt, Putnam, Mason, and Roane. But I'm going to be talking to everybody about all of our community-based programs when we get there.
Awesome. We appreciate everybody being here to hear about our agency, the National Youth Advocate Program. So a little bit of background. I recognize some of you in here. So I know that a lot of you are already at least aware, if not or at least have heard of us. The National Youth Advocate Program is a national organization. We are headquartered in Columbus, Ohio. We've been in existence since 1978. So we have been providing an array. At the last count, I think I was told we are COA, Council on Accreditation, accredited in over 75 different programs throughout our agency. At the core of who we are is a therapeutic treatment foster care agency. However, probably in the last 5 years, we recognize that there's been a shift across the country in kind of how foster care has been utilized. If you asked us 10 years ago, you probably would have seen around 60-40. 60% foster care, 40% community-based program. Now we're about 50-50, and in some states our community-based programming is pushing ahead of foster care because our goal is to keep kids in their homes. Right? Everybody knows that's our primary goal. We would like to have kids remain in their birth homes or in their home communities as long as they can. With services in place to help maintain that. So NYAP initially was created to respond to the needs of placements and to be able to provide homes as an alternative to sending kids at the time to orphanages or residential/group homes. So we still, 4 decades later, are putting kids, children, youth, and families at the core of the services that we provide. We recently changed our mission, so I wanted to include that in here for everybody. I'm not going to go over it. What I do want to touch on a little bit is the values that flow through who we are and how we operate. Children first, advocacy, not only giving people a voice that we serve, but we want to advocate for the system to let them know that we are able to provide and support and come around the family in times of need. Empowerment, innovation. We pride ourselves on being creative, and when there's not a service in place, we at NYAP will create one to respond to the individualized needs of the kid and family. And in fact, I've been with NYAP for 15 years, and we've made things work where I didn't think it was possible in the beginning. So I will say that we thrive on being creative in the services that we deliver. On the screen in front of you, you can see the states that we currently are operational in. Overall, we have a lot of facilities and a lot of offices across the country that are delivering foster care, community-based therapy, medication management, etc. In West Virginia, which is what you all are interested in, we deliver services all throughout the state for foster care. We are headquartered in West Virginia in Fairmont. That's our state office location. And then we have offices in the Northern Panhandle. So Brooke, Hancock, Ohio, Marshall, Wetzel, Tyler touches that Northern Panhandle. Our Fairmont office covers the Doddridge, Harrison, Marion, Mon, Preston, Taylor, Barber counties. Angie explained that her service area, that is kind of the middle of the state, right? Martinsburg has an office that covers the Jefferson, Morgan, Berkeley County area, sometimes Hampshire and Mineral, depending on what the service is. And then we have offices as well in our Putnam County area that covers Putnam, Kanawha, Cabell, and then we have Angie. I'm going to get it. Angie, can you talk about the other service areas that we cover down in the South?
So we cover my area basically is all the way over from Mason County. I've got Mason, Putnam, Kanawha, and then of course Wood, Jackson, Pleasance, Calhoun, Wirt, Roan, and we also have some other programs down into all the way to the Beckley area, which I would love to be able to spread wraparound down there, but we just haven't gotten to that point yet. But we're working our way down. But right now we are most of our wraparound programs are throughout the state of West Virginia, which I'll get into more of that when we get to community-based.
Perfect. And I'm also going to talk about one of our new opportunities that we were just awarded a grant for that's going to expand services down to the deep South. We operate out of 5 service areas. Our heart, right, and where we are is set on the prevention intervention services. Out of home care, which would be foster care, family preservation, reunification, and then our positive youth development. All right, so now I'm going to get into the meat of the services that we provide here in West Virginia. So our foster care programs accept youth from all 55 counties. Our goal is to keep kids as close to their home community as we can, to be able to facilitate visitation, to be able to aid in those reunification efforts if that is where the case ends up going. However, we realize that that's not always possible. So we have youth that are placed in homes all around the state. And then we have employees that provide transportation, and we work out all the kinks in the event that we need to facilitate supervised visitation or sibling visits. We aim at keeping sibling sets together. Sometimes that's not possible. The other week we got a referral for 12 kids. you can't keep 12 kids in the same home. So what we do is we really work hard to figure out how we can at least keep them in similar areas so we can facilitate those sibling visits. We also provide the 8-to-8 emergency placement. So we are one of the 3 foster care agencies that offer the 8-to-8 is what the emergency placement is, up to 72 hours, that allows a department worker to find a longer term foster care placement in lieu of the hotel stays. The new exciting area is that we are expanding services into Fayette, Raleigh, and Kanawha, where we're looking to put an office. And I know our executive director of West Virginia was just down in the Montgomery area. I don't know where Montgomery, West Virginia is, but they were down there looking to put an office there where we will be delivering foster care locally in that area, as well as behavioral health. That was our new grant that we received, which we're super excited about. So that's one of our new things that's popping up. We license foster homes to take kids 0 to 18. Youth can sign themselves, we say sign themselves back into foster care, but that's not really what it means. After they turn 18, right? It's signing the FC-18 that allows youth to remain in the foster care home until 21. So they are able to either go to school and then have the foster home that they can come back to on breaks. They can choose to have a job, and the foster home will be able to care for them until they're 21. Our focus on licensing foster homes are to take those difficult to place youth, those teens, and those sibling groups. So when we recruit, that's what we look for. And I'm going to turn this over to Angie, who's going to talk about our community-based programs.
Okay, so as you see, we do have 4 specific community-based programs that we run. 3 of them are kind of all grouped into an umbrella of wraparound, which is what I am the coordinator for, is the wraparound programs. And 3 of those programs are the Children's Wraparound, we have Safe at Home, and we, of course, have Children with Serious Emotional Disorders waiver, which everybody calls CSED. Now, wraparound, basically what my facilitators do. So basically we have facilitators that go into homes upon receiving a referral, and we wrap around the family. We want to keep that child in the home as much as possible. And so we go into the home and we build a team to wrap around the family and provide whatever needs or resources that family needs to be able to stay together. Each program has different referral requirements. For instance, Safe at Home, which is the one I've been doing the longest because that's what I started out with, was Safe at Home. You have to have DOHS involvement with Safe at Home. We go from, we're now doing 5 to 17, actually to 18. Once they turn 18, now there are waivers available that we can go past, but we have to have permission, which has been done, depending on if the youth is still in school. A lot of times that's where that's coming from, and within the DOHS realm of being like within DJJ and all that. Safe at Home is we predominantly deal with, honestly, truancy. That's our biggest reason for going into the homes, but there are other reasons with children who do not meet the requirements for Children with Serious Emotional Disorders waiver. There has to be a certain, everybody has to do a certain assessment that requires them to get into CSED. Aetna oversees the CSED program. It's a Medicaid waiver program that we do, and it's the same as in regards to Safe at Home as far as wraparound. Okay, it's the same thing. We go in, we wrap the family around. We want to make sure that they have the right services. If they need therapy, we get them into therapy. If they need other programs that we provide, like family functional therapy, we try and get family functional therapy in the home. Whatever they might need, if it's just transportation, if it's trying to get a tutor for the child, if they're having school issues, if there are issues with anxiety that they maybe just can't handle going to school, we try and get them into, whether it's virtual learning or online, whatever is more comfortable for the family, and we want them to succeed. We are huge advocates for our children when we go in there. I have had many of my facilitators go to court and advocate for our kiddos to stay in their homes, that they're doing really well. It would be better for them to stay in the home. Children's Wraparound is also a wraparound program as well. It is like Children's Wraparound is, if it doesn't fit within Safe at Home or CSED parameters, we can put them in Children's Wraparound. Okay, and basically though, it's still the same program in WRAP, where we go in again and try and get the right services in the home to assist the family. But you don't need DOHS involvement with Children's Wraparound. You don't necessarily have to have insurance, Medicaid insurance or private insurance. We will get what we need in that home as quickly as we can. Different things like with Children's Wrap, the ages will go from 5 to 18. With CSED, we can go to actually 21. So we can go a little earlier. We can also go younger with CSED. We actually go down to 3. We recently had she's still with us. We have a young 3. She came at us at 3. She's currently 6, and she is doing phenomenal. She is autistic, nonverbal, and finally speaking words. And it has just been, I mean, my facilitator went to the school, advocated at the school for her to ensure she had the right environment. And she just said her first words about a month and a half ago. And it was so exciting to hear that she is progressing like she is. So the other program we have, so those are the wraparound programs. We have also this program that we have been doing for about a year. It's called Strengthening Families. And that is an evidence-based family skills training program where we kind of have, it's like a conglomerate where you go in and you meet weekly and you have coaches. The coaches come in and they will separate the kids and the parents and have like training with them each on how to, like with the family, the parents, you're going to have them how to handle certain outbursts or maybe some anger management. Same with the children. They have the coaches and then they come together. Okay. Right now with our Strengthening Families, we do cover Monongahela, Marion, Harrison, Preston, Taylor, and Barber. And we are actually just received the grant that's helping us move foster care into Kanawha, Fayette, and Raleigh. We are doing Strengthening Families as well. It is a great program. I'm trying to get it up into our area because I think I can fill up Strengthening Families as well. It would benefit some of our wraparound youth because I just think it would be great up in our area. So I've been advocating for that program up in our area as well. But now back to you, Abby.
I just wanted to interrupt real quick. We did have a question in the chat. So how is NYAP funded, and do you contract with CPS to provide in-home service?
We we're funded through several ways. We are a not-for-profit organization. So we receive funding, of course, through foster care payments, through Medicaid, and insurance payments. we deliver services via court order. Good God, we I worked really hard a couple years ago. We had a youth who was part of the victim compensation services where she had experienced sexual abuse, and she was able to receive therapy when I started working with her. She was, oh my gosh, 8 years old. She's now she's now in college, going to be she will be a junior studying to be a veterinarian. And we provided services for her all the way up to 18 under funding from victim compensation. And then self-pay, so through a variety of grants, of other means as well. What was the question about CPS?
Do you contract with CPS to provide in-home services?
We do. We are limited on the in-home services that we're providing right now. So we will provide supervised visitation, transportation for youth that are involved in our foster care programs. In terms of parenting and adult life skills and some of those other socially necessary programs, we are not providing those services right now. However, we're looking to expand. Depending on the needs of services in the area. One of the reasons that we don't provide those services right now is because it's cost prohibitive. And there's not, with our focus being foster care, community-based, and behavioral health, we don't, we kind of push forward on those service areas and partner with other folks to deliver the parenting and the life skills portions. But we work with youth services and CPS to provide service delivery.
Great,
So
thanks.
absolutely. So for our behavioral health programming, we can provide therapy to youth and families all over the state. So in all 55 counties. We don't have the availability at this point to provide in person in all of those counties. So what we do, we supplement with telehealth in areas that we don't have an office to do in person. So we offer individualized therapy in using evidence-based models. One of the things that we pride ourselves in is that we have therapists in our organization who are trained or certified in a majority of evidence-based models. So trauma-focused CBT, EMDR, which is the eye movement desensitization, the PCIT, so parent-child interaction therapy, and then of course all of the other DBT, so dialectical behavior therapy, CBT, solution focused. One of our therapists is certified as an art therapy practitioner, certified. We use a model that Dr. Bruce Perry created, the neurosequential model of therapeutics, so NMT, that does a lot of the brain mapping. So we're operating out of a lot of therapy modalities. We also deliver family therapy, not just functional family therapy. But one of the services that we do provide is the functional family therapy program. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. We also have an outpatient therapy model designed to address youth with problematic sexual behaviors. So we provide assessment services as well as treatment options in 4 categories: youth who just need some psychoeducation, all the way up to youth who are who likely could go to residential, when we provide services to youth that are high needs in that area, we can provide individual, family, group with a wraparound component. We do substance use assessments for the court over in the Berkeley, Jefferson, Morgan County area. We will do substance use assessments if somebody needs it in other areas as well. And then we have a school-based program. We were operational in Harrison County under Project Aware, which our grant ended, and we're still delivering services in 3 schools in Harrison County. We just this school year signed a contract, MOU, with schools in Ohio County and are delivering school-based therapy in 4 elementary schools in the Northern Panhandle. The majority of our services right now are provided through Medicaid, funded through Medicaid, and then we are being credentialed with some commercial insurances as well. So one of the things that I want to touch on is our functional family therapy program, otherwise known as FFT. So when Safe at Home and FFT rolled out back in 2015, I can't believe it's been 11 years already for those programs. There were initially 11 sites across the state delivering FFT. NYAP is the lone provider still standing, and it's an evidence-based family model that's typically delivered for youth involved in the juvenile justice system. However, we can serve any youth with family needs between the ages of 11 and 17. So we can take a 10-year-old, depending on kind of their insight. We can take someone who's 17 and then they turn 18, but we can't take somebody who's 18. Kind of those are the parameters around FFT. We use FFT as a diversionary tactic into the juvenile justice system. We also use it if somebody is involved already in the justice system, and we also use it as a step down coming back home from residential placement to prevent some of that recidivism. Referrals can come from, for all of these programs, referrals can come from anybody. Department workers, attorneys, judges, doctors' offices, residential providers. People can make self-referrals, schools, etc. We also can use FFT within CPS. What has to happen within CPS is there has to be a reunification plan. So kids have to be already pushing towards reunification. The department has to be doing that. And we will do the work between the youth and the family that the child is reuniting with. They have to be in West Virginia. We just got a referral for somebody where the youth was placed in Tennessee. We aren't able to operate in other states unless the social work board allows us to, which doesn't usually happen. So what we do in that case is we find another comparable provider who can deliver that service where the youth is at with the family.
We did have another question in the chat. It's how do families meet criteria for strengthening families?
So with strengthening families, actually, there's not really a criteria. It says it's very broad. If the identified youth is between the ages of 7 and 17 and the family is open to accepting help, anybody can refer to us, the parent, the family, DOHS, the school. It can come from us. anybody can actually do strengthening families. And actually they are trying to get more referrals for strengthening families. So right now, though, unfortunately, we're only in, we can only hold the cohorts right now at Monongahela, Marion, Harrison, Preston, Taylor, and Barber. And hopefully by mid-year, we should be able to handle Kanawha, Fayette, and Raleigh. And in regards with CPS, just to be on the other, and when it comes to wraparound, we we get involved with the youth services workers, the CPS workers, the probation officers, juvenile probation officers, if they're involved with the juvenile justice system. We work hand in hand with those guys to make sure these kiddos stay in their home. Unfortunately, we do get a lot of kids, especially with CSED as well, with significant behavioral issues, and some of those children are adopted. So we do whatever we can to work with everybody involved to be on the same plan to make sure we have the right needs developed for the strengths that the family has. Okay. And we each plan that we develop is individualized, because of course no family is the same. We have to have individualized plans. So we make sure that's done, and we do that by getting input from everybody. And we want to make sure that these kiddos are successful and the families are successful.
Do you have a flyer or a list of the counties that you do for strengthening families?
I know we have a flyer, but I don't know if it's got do we have it with I know the flyer's out there, but I'm not really sure with the counties provided. I can put it in the chat if you want me to.
Perfect.
One of the things that I'm going to do when we're finished is I'm going to email you guys the PowerPoint or some of our referrals. So like for our Safe at Home, our referral has to come from the department, right? For a lot of our other programs, we have referral forms that people can access and fill that out. We also have an online referral form that people can access when they go to our website. So what I can do is put together a kind of like a talking point sheet with all of our programs and the counties that we serve for those specific programs.
That would be perfect. Thank you.